Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 5, Episode 20, DJI Mini 3 Pro Shipping Woes. How is everyone doing this evening? Let's welcome everybody here. Drone Shots is here. Johnny Drone Flyer. Have Drone Will Travel. Max Shack Gabe is here. Old Farts with Jones. Welcome, Bob. It's good to see you tonight. Leonard Oglesby. Stephen Ewing, how are you, my friend? Lauren is in the house. Welcome, Lauren. Who else we got? Flying Flynn Media is here. Fly Guy Merrill is here. See who else. Scott Nadeau is here. Frank Walker and Art is in the house. All right. Marcus and Ron, excuse me, join us here in a little bit. Got a lot to talk about tonight, and it's just and we're gonna get to the whole thing about the Mini 3 shipping woes coming up, and trust me, I'm experiencing it, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. One of the things that I was actually kind of surprised to see, and I want to get this up here. I know, through the grapevine, I'm hearing that a Fimi X8 SE 2022 version 2 is coming out shortly, okay? Unfortunately, there is absolutely nothing out there about this. Excuse me, I've approached Fimi. I've checked with my contact, waiting to hear back from them. So as soon as I find out all the details and more information, I'll get that to you. I just don't have anything right now on that. But that is what I heard. They are coming out with an SE 2022 version 2. So we'll see. I have no idea, and it's going to look, what they've done to tweak this. So we'll see. And as soon as I get that information, we'll get that out there, get it posted to the Build a Drone Reviewer Facebook group and page, and also the Fimi group as well. I hope you guys are a part of that. So, okay. Wow. The DJI Avata CineWhoop, okay? Rumored drone, all right? Let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and share the article from Joan DJ. So give me a second to pull that up here. Let's get this going here. Okay, DJI Avata, new CineWhoop drone for cinematic FPV shots. And then we see several rumored pictures of this from Deals Drone and Ocitalev, or where these pictures came from. The official announcement for the Mini 3 Pro drone is barely out of the way, and DJI leaker community has already dug up a new rumored product worthy of our mention. Ocitalev and Deals Drone are both claiming that the next drone from DJI's FPV could be called Avata. The rumored product's first origins can be traced back exactly a year ago when Ocitalev showed us a drone body shell only slightly bigger than the iPhone 12 Pro Max. The one thing that stood out in the fuselage was an opening at the end that resembled a cooling scoop, indicating that the forthcoming product could have been components need more processing and heat need to be dissipated. Okay, there's that rendering. Now, Jill's drone has gotten his hands on fresh renderings that reveal the rumored drone in its entirety. The images that were shared by Leaker's Twitter account over the weekend show Avata sporting ducts that protect the propellers in typical CineWhoop style. And here's what you see here. CineWhoop, as you know, is a relatively new style of drone. Was created because filmmakers need a smaller and safer option while working indoors in tight quarters. These drones can capture amazingly crisp HD footage that your usual quads simply cannot, okay? Those who fly CineWhoop FPV typically learn to build and repair their own drones working with naked or stripped-down cameras, okay? But Avata, like the FBI drone, looks like a completely pre-built, user-friendly CineWhoop ready to fly out of the box. According to Ocitalev, the model name for Avata is WM169, and for reference, the DJI FPV is WM170, okay? And he leaked that here. And these are supposedly some of the rumored specs here. Compact and weighs about 500 grams, can fly indoors. Photo quality is much better along the lines of a Mini 3 Pro. greatly improved battery life. Manual mode is not supported. Head chase mode, vibration function, touchpad for glass menu. Glasses can connect to phone. Okay. A leaker further suspects that the drone could see a release sometime between July and August. Okay. And that's about it on this. But it's very interesting that no sooner than the Mini 3 Pro has come out that we're hearing about this, which I think's very interesting. Very interesting here. So be that as it may, that's where we're kind of at on that. We're gonna find out more as it comes out, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more coming out for that. So kind of stay tuned to this. We'll kind of see what's going on here. It doesn't surprise me that it's coming out this fast, because I think this is obviously I think it's an already developed product. What did surprise me is the size of this, and it's very small, and it's pre-built. There's no kit. There's no, you don't have to get a camera. You don't have to get motors, ESC, communications, anything. And as that's what a lot of the FPV guys like to do, is to build their own. So, this is another way of introducing people into the world of FPV, and it might bode pretty well. And I think the thing that will probably help this sell well would probably be a good price. There's Mr. Ron Brown. How are you, sir?
Good, Bill. I saw you talk about that new FPV drone. Have you pre-ordered yet?
Yeah.
I mean, we're we may have to wait forever to get the Mini. How long will it take to get the FPV?
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about the Mini here in a minute. But yeah, I'm like, why don't they just release it so we can pre-order it now and get it maybe in September?
Yeah. And you talked about this. This drone was on the calendar that Acetylev released almost in the first year, the DJI drone calendar. He had the FPV Mini drone on the calendar for July. So it looks like that timetable is kind of holding up, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, it's his, and I gotta say this, Ron. Maybe a couple of years ago, his leaks weren't all the best. Let me put you that way. His accuracy was off, but his accuracy has been pretty spot on the past year or so. Especially with the mini drones, he's been, and just about everything else from DJI, he's been pretty spot on. So he's getting some good quality information for sure.
Yeah, I mean, outside of maybe getting a spec, or maybe he'll say, well, something had, 60 frames per second it did. But I mean, the big stuff like the drones coming. I mean, when's the last time he was wrong about a new DJI drone coming?
It's been a while. It's been at least a couple of years.
Yeah,
he's been pretty accurate. So I mean, and I don't see this. I was saying right before you got on, I don't see this as a surprise. This coming out this soon after the Mini 3 Pro, because it's already, and think about this, okay? And this has already been produced. It's ready to go. They're just waiting for the time right now.
Because, and really, I mean, I know a lot of people that are going to order the Mini will also order the. How do you pronounce that new drone? The Avata?
Avata, yeah, that's how I'm pronouncing it.
We'll call it the A drone for right now.
The A drone, yeah.
A lot of people that order the Mini will get that too, but I think DJI knows that drone has a whole separate market that will, the people that would never consider buying a Mini will consider buying that. So release at the same time, they're going to see that as two different customer bases. Now, again, it will be some migration of those two factors. Like for instance, me, I probably won't order it, but I would be more likely to order this, Mini inducted, thing one than I would that big one.
Yeah. Well, and I was just saying this too before you got on. I think that this new Mini CineWhoop, Avata, whatever you want to call it, I think it's going to attract more people into the FPV space than DJI's first attempt. Okay, because that was big, it was expensive, and it was it was prone to, I don't want to say prone to break, but these things are going to crash, and that really wasn't a crash, not a crash worthy drone.
Exactly.
Okay?
This one with his protective, inducted, whatever they call them on the outside. In other words, you can bounce off like you say, if you're practicing in the home or the backyard, you can bounce off the garage or the shed and whatever, and keep flying.
Yeah.
Or the other one, as soon as you hit an object, once those propellers hit something, it's on the ground, and you replace the props at the least.
Mm-hmm. And I think also too, I think the price on this is going to be a lot more user friendly.
That's a good point. We kind of touched on that last night, but people were speculating because the goggles cost a certain amount of whatever already in that air unit. How much cheaper? How much cheaper do you think it could be? Really? I mean, I hope it is cheaper, and I think that will be the real key. You said more people getting an FPV. The price will be the key too. If this can come in what several $100s under the other one, it may it may be more like the Mini was, whatever, in price wise. It brought a lot of people in who had resisted before just on price alone.
Yeah, if they can get in the $400 or $500 range, Ron, that would be golden for them.
Of course, like they say, they would have to come out with new goggles and everything, because don't those goggles cost $500 on their own?
The goggles by themselves, yeah.
So kind of like the new smart controller with the Mini, they'd have to come out with maybe a dumbed down version of the goggles that they could just more affordably package in with that drone.
Yeah, I think maybe offer two options as far as the goggles are concerned. And they could and this thing can sell really well.
If you got in the $400 to $500 range, I would definitely consider getting just to fly in the backyard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah,
that would be an absolute blast. And and it's kind of built to fly indoors. So, but I've been told about my flying indoors from my beautiful wife. Okay,
which drone was it? Hit the lamp or the vase or something?
That was the original Mavic Pro.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was a gouge in our wall in our previous house that I repaired, by the way. I did repair that. I want to go on record and say that. So,
so that's got a full disclaimer going here on that, right?
Yeah, I had to get a full disclaimer on that one. Now, one of the other things that we did see was there was an DJI Fly, excuse me, guys, DJI Fly app update. Yeah. And let me go over that. I'm gonna bring this up.
That appeared. I saw that yesterday morning. Popped up in my app updates.
This was very interesting seeing that. Let me go ahead and share this.
Right, and while you're sharing, the big thing was now the Mini 3 is in the official app.
Yes, exactly, Ron. That's a great point.
And that Bill, that you think that puts us one step closer to the drone arriving to we'll say the people who paid for the drone.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that because I have some, I've gotten some additional information today on this, and we're going to talk about this here in a second. The update adds true vertical shooting, focus track, APAS 4.0, hyperlapse, master shots, quick transfer, panorama, 4K 48 frames per second, 4K 50 frames per second, 4K 60 frames per second, adds 1080p, 120 frames per second to slow motion, greatly improved image quality, optimized flight stability. Okay. And then it has the numbers on here. And again, all these articles are posted on a Build a Drone Facebook group and page, and also the Mini group as well, too. Ron, none of these were surprises because, obviously it was in the beta firmware, like Billy and Aldrin. And
I was about to say, Billy tested the APS. He did a video almost a week ago on the APS 4.0, and he specifically called that out. So in the version Billy had last week, he had at least this APS. So I don't know what this really, update and what. I mean, the people, the testers already had this stuff. So I don't know what that.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of times they get tweaked because, you're cautioned. And when I did the beta testing for the original smart controller with the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, you were cautioned when you received that beta software that said, features and functions, when the software is released, will be added that you may not have currently. So, you're told that in the agreement just to let people know. So, But the timing on this, and this is what I titled tonight's episode, shipping woes. Okay. And now there's a lot of information here, and I want to kind of go over this because I think it's important. One of the things, and let me tell you guys right off what I did today. Okay. Now, one of the things that I saw was a gentleman who had ordered his on Best Buy right during the release, like I did. He was told from a reliable source that Best Buy is not going to get theirs till middle of July. Okay. So yours truly today, I placed the second order with DJI, the mothership. I have an estimated ship date of 6/29, but we'll see how that pans out. So whatever drone comes first, I'll cancel the other one, or I'll get that in and maybe sell it on eBay and make a few bucks. I don't know.
Right.
We'll see on that.
Having two Mini 3 Pros is the first world problem, Bill.
Yes, well, it would need to get solved real quickly because Valerie would be right over my shoulder the entire time. We can't.
It's not like you had two. It wouldn't be like you had two Hubsan Xeno Mini Pros around or whatever. It's a good thing, not a bad thing.
Now, our good friends with Drone DJ put out this article here. And I want to go over this. And I also want to go over Jasper Ellens put out a post on his Facebook group. And I think this is important information here. Okay. See here, North America won't see them till end of May and later. A controversial aspect of DJI Mini 3 Pro release will be when you can get one here in North America. Right now, as soon as you can get a Mini 3, it will be end of May if you order directly from DJI. The caveat is you have to bundle the new DJI RC with the drone or you'll be waiting much longer. If you want the basic RC N1 controller or no controller, DJI states August 2022 is the shipping date on their website. Okay. For major third-party retailers like B&H and Adorama, they state all three options of the Mini 3 Pro will be available starting at the end of June. Okay. Something seems off that the Mini 3 Pro is taking so long to ship to customers, especially since we saw the leaks that came over the past week from people who already got their hands on them. Okay. Mini 3 Pro is now available for purchase on Amazon in the US, but not in Canada. Amazon is currently only showing options for the drone bundled with the standard RC N1 controller or the new DJI RC. Okay. Remember, shipping dates don't mean delivery. Delivery dates look like June 9th for the Fly More kits. We could assume drone deliveries would be around the same time. So make sure not to expect your Mini 3s to start arriving before early June, as shipping might take some time and could slip further as DJI receives more orders. International retailers seem to have more buying options. If you live outside of North America, there's a lot of retailers with drones in the back room on the shelf ready to buy. However, some customers say the store systems won't allow purchases to be made just yet. Okay. Overall, shipping dates from DJI store from international buyers are closer to mid to late June, but they will vary by country. So overall, it looks like we'll have to wait a bit before seeing customers receiving their Mini 3 Pros. Now, I also want to get into this, and I think this is a really good thread you guys need to read. And again, I have this posted on Bill the Drone Reviewer Facebook group and page, and it's from Jasper Ellens. Jasper is an excellent DJI leaker here. Now, this message says, DJI just assured me the European deliveries are on point. No delays and will be available widely the 17th. Sadly, in North America, there are not enough goods. New laws make it difficult to import and ship. Now, there is a tremendous amount. There's 103 comments on here. Okay. DJI has been blacklisted by the U.S., tariffs placed on China by the U.S., also chip shortage. There's a lot of things here getting into this. New laws make it more difficult to import not enough goods.
And Jasper commented on that one himself.
Right. Sub 250 is better almost everywhere, not just Europe.
Hey, can I interrupt? I had a gentleman last night comment on the Drone Nation show last night. He's in the UK, and he said the drone was in shops today. And I see out in the chat, Bob Dempsey said that it's available in I don't know if he said Europe or UK. But look at Lon's comment about maybe like 10 comments back. Lon said the DJ's first wave has a delivery date of May 31st. Delivery date of May 31st, and a second wave is through June 29th.
Okay.
So, but that a lot of people confirm that it's available it's available in shops, brick and mortars today.
Okay.
17th.
Yeah. And what's interesting here, okay, now, I'm seeing, and if you go through the thread, and I'm not going to take the time to go through the thread, you guys are welcome to do that. But from what I was seeing in there, okay, this varies wildly by country, okay, because I know, the UK sounds like they'll be in shops, and I know Stephen Ewing said where he's getting it from, and Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong, that yours was going to be available shortly, but in other places, in other countries, even besides the United States, they're kind of seeing the kind of dates that we're seeing. And this is all over the place. Okay. This isn't just North America, and, I know what Jasper said in his message, and I understand that, but, I'm seeing other countries they're not going to get theirs when they expect to get them. Now, I know a lot of you guys ordered right away, got an estimated shipping date of 5/31. Okay. Now, on Best Buy, and I want to show you this. This is something that I want to show you. I took a screenshot of my order from Best Buy. I blacked out the pertinent information, but I just want to show this to you so you can kind of see what Best Buy is saying here. Okay. Now, they're saying here, a release date for your pre-order has not been announced. We'll email you when it's ready. Now, I did get that right away on May 10th, okay? But there has been no update. This has been static since since I ordered it. And and I ordered. Now, I did order that day, because I had problems with the firm and all that. And DJI, and I also found this out too, Ron, is DJI was being super strict about financing and credit cards and debit cards and everything. If there's any kind of a little hiccup, they cancel that order immediately. Okay. That I did find out. So, that happened. Okay. That's just something.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just interrupt for a second. Lon's reminding us that the Mini 3 Pro just cleared the FCC grant database on the 12th. And the new RC controller just on the 14th.
Okay, that's a good.
So that means that I guess maybe that's somewhat of the delay, because obviously nobody could have their hands on the drone in the U.S. before that cleared database, right, Bill?
Right.
Now, but how do the testers get around that? They have it before it gets.
Well, see, this is technically, they're not sold to the testers. Okay.
Oh, they're given. Okay, it doesn't actually give. It's only if you sell it. Okay, gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
In order to actually sell the drone, it has to be on the FCC database. Okay, in which they now are. And thank you, Lon, for pointing that out. That's a good point. And of course, this was late. This was, kind of like I'll call it Spark late, because the Spark, it didn't appear until the day it was released, okay? But it had to be out there in order for DJI to sell these drones, okay? Understand that, okay? Even to place an order with them, it has to be out there. That's how, that's the rules of the FCC. So, this is, now I got to ask you this. Did you order a Flymore kit, Ron?
Well, what happened is, that morning when you had trouble, I immediately put the drone and the RC Pro in my cart, right? Mm-hmm. And then I went down to get the Flymore kit. But by the time I found the Flymore kit and clicked it, it was sold out. In fact, both Flymore kits, it just went to reserve. Like they would send you an email when they're available. So I panicked. Well, I mean, not panicked, but at that point I couldn't order it. So I quickly went to the cart and completed the order for the drone before it was unavailable. So I only ordered the drone and the RC Pro that day. So the only thing I got ordered now. 2 or 3 days later, I saw that the Flymore kit was available in the store. At that point, you could actually order it, not just reserve it. So I went ahead and ordered it. Now I get a ship date of like July 4th. I'm making that up. It's July. It's sometime early in July. But as I got that date almost immediately, but I still have no date on the actual drone.
Okay, because I do have a ship date on the Flymore kit as well, and I think it's 5/31 on the Flymore kit. Mm-hmm. And now I did.
Now you ordered that from the mothership DJI?
Yeah, I ordered that from the mothership from DJI. I was able, as soon as I finished my order at Best Buy, I did that, And from what I'm reading and everything that I'm reading today, that was the smart thing to do. Okay. Because a lot of times what happens is when you buy, let's say, the Fly More kit and the drone, okay, DJI will bundle it together to save on shipping. Okay. But, you might have to wait. If one of those items isn't available, you're going to have to wait for that item to be in stock. Okay. So, that's why it's always smart not to put, just buy the drone. Okay. And then place a separate order and get the Fly More kit. And that's what I did. And that's going to work out. I think that's going to work out a whole lot better for me. And I think for a lot of people that have done that.
It's going to be interesting.
Well, now, yeah, exactly. Lon's right. Products cannot be imported in this country without clearing FCC, period. I'm an optimist. I think the minute the Mini 3 Pro cleared the FCC, they were being prepped for shipment. And he's right. Now, the other thing was Stephen Ewing posted that he picked his up already from Argos.
Argos, the people leaked the drone a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, in the same
Argos gets in no trouble with DJI for leaking and stuff. Is that
they're notorious because the Mavic 2.
Yeah,
they leaked. I mean, that whole catalog page got out there. Okay.
Yeah.
And we saw all that information, which was crazy. I mean,
and then DJI wound up delaying the launch from early July to the end of
it was the middle of August.
Yeah, almost the end of August. Yeah,
middle and end of August.
I'm going to say over a month. And remember, then the Anafi got out first and kind of stole the thunder for a while.
Boy, that was a mess. That was a real mess because I had already had travel plans because, I got, Valerie and I got invitations to go to the event, and, I had travel plans and I had to rebook all my travel plans, hotel and everything. And that was a nightmare when that happened. I mean, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But this is where things are right now. And I think, one of the things that I can suggest for people to do is to go out there. One of the reviews I highly recommend you watch. Okay. And I don't know if you saw this one, Ron, but Aldrin did one where he compared the video from several other drones. Okay.
Some old time drones got in there too.
Exactly. And what Aldrin did, and I thought that was spot on, and I commented that and I let him know that I thought this was great. All the settings were on auto. He didn't touch a thing on there. Okay. There was no post editing, nothing. Okay. And it's as you saw it. And I got to say this. Okay. I was impressed with the Mini 3 Pro. I really was. But you know what? Out of all the footage that I saw, what drone impressed me the most? Take a guess, Ron.
Mavic 3?
No. The Air 2S.
Air 2S. Okay.
Air 2S. It just for some reason, it was mostly daylight that Aldrin was filming in, and there was plenty of light for the most part. But that footage from the Air 2S, it's still like,
yeah. Gosh. But Bill, I don't know. He forgot to include the Hubsan Zeno Mini Pro in that.
He should have called Marcus up to get it.
Yeah, he had one of those drones last year, didn't he? He had one of the budget drones last year, I believe. I don't know if it was the Fimi or the Zeno, but he had one of those budget drones he was viewing last year.
He did. He did. And Aldrin does outstanding reviews, and I was that's one of the ones I really like because it kind of gives you a flavor for the capabilities of this drone, Ron, and you get a real good understanding of what the video looks like in its natural state, and not no color grading, no post editing. This is how it is in what you're seeing out there, and I was very impressed with it, Ron. I really was.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a bad video out of it yet. I mean, I don't know what to say, Bill. It's not like I could say anybody had bad video of the Mini 3. And again, it's nothing bad to say about the video. Whether it's as good as the Air 2S, let the video stand on its own. If it's good video, it's good video. It doesn't always have to be compared to something else.
Yeah. And it's like Lon just said something, people are losing their collective minds over waiting a few weeks for their 11th drone. And Lon, that's a great point.
And Lauren backed them up with the first world problems or whatever.
Yeah, first world problems. Exactly. It's like, we all have, most of us have more than one drone. Okay, let's just call it like it is.
Yeah, let me talk Lon and Lauren down a little bit here. DJI's, we call them the kings of the drone world, right? They're the big guys, they get all the money. Okay, let's use Apple, the company they copy themselves off. When Apple announces their new iPhone every year, and they announce it, and I think it comes out like he announces on Tuesday, it's available on the Friday afterwards. Apple gives the exact dates they're coming out. Those dates always stick. There's no, I mean, I want to say there's no shortage. There's a shortage of maybe the phone you want with the memory you want with the color you want maybe out. But when you go to the store, there's plenty of iPhones there, whether you get your color or memory size match up. But Apple has no problems with this type of thing. And they have the same chip shortage, the same COVID shutdowns, the same thing as every other company. They're based in China. Bill, so am I being too hard on DJI by saying Apple stands by their calendar, and they don't even give you a funny date like Apple? When you order that iPhone, the day you can order, you get a date within 24 hours of paying.
Mm-hmm.
And now what DJI is doing is they're holding money, right, Bill? I mean, they've charged people's credit cards, and they may not get the drone. I mean, this is the new world thing. In the old days, when you ordered stuff, companies didn't hold your money for months, right? I mean, so what's, I'm not looking to pound on DJI at all, but I'm also not giving them a free pass for holding people's money. In many cases, not even giving them a shipping date or whatever.
Well, I've heard several things on this, and this is another thing that I wanted to talk about tonight. Is they're talking about the trade embargo, and that trade embargo has been around for a while. Okay, so and we've had it didn't affect the Mavic 3 when it came out. So it
didn't affect any Apple products.
No, it didn't affect any Apple products either. Okay. Now, a lot of people are talking about, some of the regulations that are being put into effect as far as shipping is concerned. The products and restrictions on entering the country. All right. Now that may be something like that may be in place. I'm not 100% sure on that, but somebody brought up a really good point. Okay. On both sides of the spectrum here, dock workers, both over, let's say in China and here in the United States, just example for for us here. All right. They're in short supply right now. Labor is in very short supply. For example, the restaurant that we have in our community here, they're scrambling to hire workers because it's hard to find labor right now. It really is. And hire people. That's why companies are offering crazy bonuses to get people on board. And I think the problem is they don't have enough dock workers, both here in the United States and also over in China, because for various reasons, more than likely COVID, to actually process these shipments here, Ron. I think that's where a lot of this is bogging down right now.
Yeah, again, though, it's not affecting other companies. It's not Apple products. It does. How come Apple products all come from China? Why doesn't all this embargo stuff affect them? Lon makes a point in the chat. He said DJI did give a delivery date. It's the 31st of May. I mean, I'm not saying, I haven't seen that. And I can show you my order. Nowhere in my order does it say the 31st. I mean, maybe that's on the Lon is. I mean, I'm not playing with Lon. I mean, is that on the website? Is it a certain page I can see that
now?
Date on?
When you go to if you type in DJI Mini 3 Pro. And you come up to the page. Now, if you hover over and circle the Mini 3 Pro with the RC remote, okay, down in the lower left corner, it'll have an estimated shipping date, okay? And right now it says, and when I ordered mine today, 6/29/22, okay? Now, last week, it had 5/31/22 was estimated shipping date. Now, if you go and click on that one with the RC N1 remote controller, it will say estimated shipping August of 2022. So that's where that date is coming from. All right. Because it doesn't say right now, if you go on to DJI's web or to your order page, it will say preparing. I think it says prepare to ship or something like that. And and you get an email during that whole process, okay? Because you won't all of a sudden get a FedEx notice and have it come. You'll get an email from DJI stating that your order has been shipped. Okay, there's no that's been consistent with them. That's always happened. There's never been, oh yeah, I got a FedEx notice and I'm getting something. What's coming in the mail? No, you'll get an email from DJI. They always do that because they always will change that status to have gone from waiting to be shipped to shipped.
Yeah. Hey, Lauren would like to share something. He sent it to me. Can you share the screen and I'll pull it up for us?
Sure thing.
Oh, I never had to. I have to do it, right? Share screen.
Yeah, you can go and do that.
Yeah, I never know how to do this stuff. Facebook. Okay, here we go. Can you see it, Bill?
I'm gonna add it. I thought I added it. Okay, there we go.
Can you see it?
Yes.
That's a picture Lauren took with the Mini 3.
Holy cow.
Lauren, where is that? Is that near you in Calgary?
Wow.
Is that a JPEG image? Lauren? Yeah, look at the detail on those rocks, Bill.
That is just absolutely incredible. Stephen, no, the FCC approval, it has been posted out on the FCC ID database, so it's out there.
Lauren says there's a place called Drumheller. It's near him, and it's a raw photo. So one of the things I'm looking at, Bill, look how balanced the photo is. Like the sky's not blown out, and the stuff that's in the shadows aren't crushed. You can see detail in the shadows.
That's amazing. The detail on that.
You can tell that's not a Mini 2 image. It would be, probably crushing the shadows. And very good, Lauren. Thanks for sharing.
Yes, Lauren, thank you very much. That's a great sample of what we can expect from that.
I think Drones V Media says he's asking, is that a 48 megapixel RAW file? Because we know this drone has the ability to take either 12 megapixel or 48 megapixel JPEGs and RAWs.
That's incredible, Ron. For this size of a drone, okay, if you think about it, offering RAW like that, that just amazes me. I mean, used to
looks
have
like a Mavic 2 Pro shot, huh?
Yeah, yes, drones used, but I'm using beta firmware and software. So,
okay,
all right, okay, that kind of answers that question. But that's just, Lauren, thank you so much for sharing that.
That is sharing that with us, Lauren.
That is just, that's great. Let's see, I'm trying to get there was another post here. Okay, yeah. Lon said, the Chinese docks are backed up right now. And that's probably, where the crux of the problem is, because yeah,
but they weren't backed up for the European deliveries.
That's true. That's true. Well, it's interesting though, because most of what we get from from them, is by ship. Okay. Hey, Marcus.
Gentlemen.
There he is.
How are you?
The birthday boy's in the house, Bill.
Yes. Indeed. Happy birthday, Marcus.
Thank you.
How's it feel to be 29 again?
Oh, son of a gun. I tell you what. It's so weird to think about, I'm not just in my 60s. Now I'm in my late 60s, right? 66. Late 60s. Huh? Whoa.
Well, we do have cake and ice cream after the show set up for you.
Good.
And I think Bill even went all out and got balloons this year.
Got balloons, cake, and ice cream. Yeah, we're ready. We're gonna rock and roll after the show tonight.
We don't have the little party hats though, Marcus.
Yeah. Well, yeah, all is forgiven. I can live without them.
So I want to get your take, Marcus. Ron and I have been talking here for a little bit on these shipping woes from DJI.
And we're taking a beating in the chat here, Marcus. They're calling us crybabies on worried about the delivery dates.
Now Lon has said, the Chinese docks are backed up right now. We've heard things like the embargo, which I'm not really kind of buying because that's been around for a while. Restrictions on imports, that's kind of been around for a while. What Lon says makes some sense. And that's kind of what I heard, how it's backed up on Chinese docks. And here in the United States, I've also heard that, there's a shortage of labor on the docks to unload these ships too. So I think combination of this is what.
If they need me to fly over, I'll work on the docks, but I only load drones.
Yeah, Ron will hold up the sign. We'll work for Mavic Mini 3 Pro.
So they're coming to us via ship. They're not being air freighted.
Yeah, I believe that's how they're coming. They're coming by ship.
I mean, but we believe that. I don't think we have. I don't think we have that in writing anyplace.
Now, Stephen Ewing, Marcus, posted he got his at Argos, but apparently they're already cleaned out. Okay. They only had a very limited supply out there. Well, there was a gentleman, and I'm trying to remember his name. I'm friends with him on Facebook from New York City that has one. Okay.
Eddie Nunes.
Eddie. Okay. And he got his from B&H, and how in the world that happened is known but to God. I mean, really, when you think about it, they must have had one come in. I don't have an answer for that.
The thing that I absolutely do not buy is that any kind of restrictions or anything. There's no restrictions on DJI selling consumer drones in the United States. None to people like us. There is if you're a federal government entity. Other than that, there's no restrictions that I know of. So take that off the table now. So whatever it is a logistical reason, like we said, maybe shipping or so forth. The thing that you can say, though, is you just want to be told what that is. And I can say when Ron and I ordered ours, and I looked, there was no estimated shipping date or delivery date. So the assumption was then that you order it and it's going to get shipped immediately, right? If it doesn't say will not ship for 10 days or whatever. When Ron and I ordered, and I looked, because I looked for that, it didn't say anything. So don't know. But to your point, I have not got an email from DJI yet, and my order just still says that to be shipped.
To be shipped, yeah. And that's what I have.
I mean, when I put my credit card in, I didn't get any disclaimer pop-up saying something like, well, because of COVID, because of dock shortages, yada yada yada, your drone may come late. I never saw any of those. If that's all true, why not be upright and forfeit and say that okay, there's a possibility could be late, but we're going to hold your money for as long as it takes.
Now, Lauren brought up a good point here. The lockdowns in China are having effect, and I know from what I've heard and seen over there, those are pretty brutal as far as there's lockdowns are concerned.
And again, the lockdowns didn't happen on the European Mini 3s.
Yeah, and that
good point.
I mean, are those dockers even sophisticated enough to? I'm not saying dock workers, but are dock workers? We're gonna these pallets over here are European pallets, and we're who on the dock could have just been it wasn't just a mix up or whatever. Again, all of them should be delayed.
I want to answer Lon. Lon, in my case and in Ron's case, that is simply not true, my friend, because I looked for it. I very carefully looked for that date. It was not there. So there you go.
Nothing.
Now, just to let you guys know,
I never saw any date but the 10th. The whole process.
Now, I want to. I don't know if you heard this or not, Marcus, but I ordered a second one today from DJI because I heard through the grapevine, several people told me that those who ordered through Best Buy are getting estimated that they're going to get the middle of July. And I said, you know what? I ordered from DJI today, and I got. Now the thing is, you don't get an estimated ship date when you go down and hover over it. Okay, it will tell you an estimated shipping date in the lower left corner. This is before you order it. You don't get it while you order it, but you get it down there, and there's a little bubble at the bottom in the left-hand corner of the screen that will tell you estimated ship date. Okay. Now, if you hover over the one with the RC Pro, right now it gives an estimated ship date of 6/29, and that's the date that I got when I ordered mine today. Okay. Now, if you hover over the one with the RC N1 controller, it has August of 2022. Okay. So I think that's what Lon's talking about. That's why.
I agree, Bill. I'm familiar with that. And again, I looked for that when I was ordering.
And I was just going to say this to Ron too. And Lon brought up another point. Okay. The only reason they do shipping by boat to the United States, it's a straight shot for them, basically, from China over the United States. Okay. For Europe, that's impossible. Okay. They have to go around, they got to go around the tip of South Africa and then back up to Europe to do shipping. And that timing on that is just too long. So all that's done by air over to Europe. That's how DJI does that. That's just logistics for them that make more sense. But
Bill, you want to make a quick check of your email? You may have been setting something that we can use in the show here.
Okay.
So I'll interview Marcus in the meantime. You got an interesting story. We talked about it briefly on Drone Nation last night. You've been having problems with your original Autel Evo Nano Plus drone with a sensor issue, and you got a kind of an interesting email from somebody at Autel promising you maybe they use some experimental firmware to fix that issue. Can you elaborate on this at all?
Yeah, it's actually the app, and they asked me to load this. I guess they didn't call it a beta, but they clearly that's what it is. And they asked me not to load it on my regular device because it would overwrite the existing app, which I don't know what the problem with that would be, because then you could just load the original app back. But anyway, I don't know. However, what I'll do is I'll load it onto my iPad Mini 6, and I'll try it with that, and we'll see what it does. But I thought it was kind of interesting that they offered up a solution after watching my video.
Because you've seen this issue with the sensors from the original software, right? None of the firmware updates have helped at all. Is that correct?
Yeah, no. And also of interest is that when I first was flying the drone and had all the camera issues with it, some of those sensor issues were there, but not all of them, particularly the downward facing sensor that's always thinking it has something underneath it. And that's something that came along a couple of updates in. So
yeah, who knows?
Is it a hardware issue or a software issue? I have no clue.
I'll be very interested to see what happens. Bill, you have anything for us?
Yeah, I do. Mike from Fly Zone Drone said something on DJI V3 goggles. I'm going to go ahead and bring this article up here. FPV MR. DJI FPV MR. Concept idea.
And Marcus, this plays off Bill and I's theory that the new DJI Mini FPV drone may be cheaper, and they may put out a less expensive pair of goggles for it and keep the price down.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
And Michael may have some information here.
Some of these renderings. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the description for you guys after the show, so you guys can go ahead and check this out. It's a lot of good
now, Marcus, you tried the original DJI FPV goggles, and you're pretty happy with those?
No, they don't work for me, Ron. I struggle with goggles of any kind, and it was probably a mistake for me to buy that product.
Were they kind of big too, or heavy on your?
No, head? they feel pretty good. My problem is I've only really got one eye that works, and so I only see literally half the screen. I can't see both sides of the screen, so I miss a lot of the telemetry. So yeah, it's just something.
It's a Marcus issue.
It's a Marcus issue. It's not a DJI issue. Exactly right. Lon, I want to tell you again, I didn't miss it, buddy. I know you don't believe me, but I ordered it about 5 minutes till, about 6 minutes till. I looked very carefully. Trust me on this, Lon. I was looking for that. I absolutely was interested in what the estimated shipping date would be. So I very carefully, Lon, listen to me, very carefully perused the screen looking for that date. It wasn't there. Was I excited? Yes, I was. Did I miss it? No, I didn't.
I just posted in the chat that link to that article that Mike sent us. So thank Mike.
That's Mark's story. He's sticking to it.
I just want to, I mean, Lon's not getting the message, so I just thought.
Yeah, full clarification, right?
I love you, Lon.
Of course, we love Lon around here, so everybody does. Just you can peruse that at your leisure. It's just, and I was saying earlier. I wanted to talk to both of you guys before we wrap up. I know you guys talked a little bit about it. I didn't watch your show last night. I had insomnia Sunday night, so I went to bed at 9:00.
I thought you were going to say the Penguins were on at the same time.
No, they were on Sunday night, and it was painful. They lost in overtime in Game 7. It was just very painful. But but what I wanted to ask you about was the Fimi X8 SE 2022 V2. Okay, I sent a message to my contact at Fimi. I haven't heard back. Have you guys heard anything or seen?
Marcus has an update for you, Bill.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I after our show yesterday, believe it or not, I just got off the show and an email was waiting for me from the folks at Fimi. They offered all the details of that version 2 of the 2022, and she said her wording was, "Contact me if you would like a sample." So I emailed them back and said, yeah, I would, and talked about my background with reviewing Fimi drones. So you know how that goes. You may never hear from them again.
Yeah, because you've heard that from Autel too. And
yeah, I'm not putting a lot of stock in it.
I kind of said to Marcus, the problem with these emails is, lots of times when somebody's, and I'm not saying this is the case, but lots of times somebody sent a blanket email, they're targeting 100 YouTubers or whatever, and they only want 10 testers. So if you're not one of the first 10 testers to answer back, you're off the list. Now that may not be the case here. Maybe this person only sent this email to Marcus. Hopefully they only sent.
The thing is, like to your point, Ron, that's happened to me numerous times. They'll say, "Oh, we want to send you a drone," and you say, "Yeah, okay, send it," and then you never hear back from them.
You didn't answer quick enough. Yeah.
Well, you do this. You just cross your fingers and hope for the best. I mean,
whatever's fair. I've got plenty of stuff to review and do. So
but I know that we still get a lot of questions about the new Fimi 2022 because Bill, we talk about the wide aperture on not only the Mini, the Mini 3, which has a 1.7, and of course the famous Autel Evo Nano Plus has a 1.9. Well, the Fimi 2022 has a 1.6, so it has a wider open aperture, let more light in than even the other drones do.
Okay, and see, that's why it piques my curiosity to see what the improvements are on the V2 compared to the original one for 2022.
It's supposed to have a much better camera, so that's why I would be interested as well, Bill. Now, here's the way I look at it, what they get out of the deal. They'll send me a $400 or $450 drone or whatever. I'll put a lot of work into a review, into making not just one but several videos about it. I mean, it's not a series
of videos,
a series of videos featuring different features on it. So I figure it's well worth it to them to send it to somebody like me, and if they don't want to, hey, whatever's fair.
Yeah, because I mean, look, what they said, obviously
it's saved me a lot of work.
But you said the Captain Drone, he may make one video on it.
Yeah.
Well, Lon posed a good question here. Would you have been happier if DJI had waited until June or July to release the Mini 3 Pro until they had stock everywhere?
Can I answer that?
Go for it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Don't release a drone until you have stock and can ship it. Boom.
I agree.
Well, because I see Lon's point though. Maybe they don't have stock for everybody, but somebody in the world can have it. at some point. Or what if it'd been the other way? What if the U.S. would have got it before Europe or whatever? Would you want to be held back because Europe couldn't get it?
Truthfully, Ron, I wouldn't care. I'd be fine if they just didn't advertise it in the U.S. and say, but they release it in a different. Companies do that kind of thing all the time. But yet, to your point, Ron, they've taken the money out of my off my credit card already. So, I think I have a reasonable expectation.
They're earning interest on your $1,000 rather than you earning interest on the $1,000. Is that correct?
Well, that would be exactly be the case. Yeah.
And they're going to be there if they took 100,000 orders. They're earning interest on all that money rather than the buyers earning their interest on their money.
Yeah. And listen, let's say DJI is usually pretty good about this kind of stuff. I mean, when they take your money, it's only just for a few weeks or whatever. Now, we've all been through with like Hubsan and Fimi and other brands. Fimi was pretty good on their last release, but we've had times where, hell, Autel for that matter, they have your money for 3 months or 4 months. I think that original Fimi X8 SE took the cake. I think it was like 5 months from the time I paid for it until I got the drone. And that's just absurd. Basically you're crowdfunding that product.
Yeah. Go fund me. And, and I know we're getting beat up in the chat a little bit here, but, I will say, Bill, and I don't know, Marcus, you agree with me. I think that, we're going to be pleasantly surprised. I think DJI is going to over deliver, and these drones are going to arrive faster than those dates that they promised you on those invoices or whatever. I think they'll get here sooner rather than later. That's just my opinion based on
point. It's only been a week, Ron. It's only been a week. Yeah. So truthfully, yeah, I'm fine with that. And if it comes within, the next week or so, I'm going, well, that's reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, we were a little gloom and doom on the show tonight, but we were kind of looking at the worst case scenario, Bill, I believe.
And I think even if it's a couple weeks out, 3 weeks out, I'm good with something like that. But I think the point was made, and I agree with it 100%, is, if, like Lon said, if they said June or July, you get it right away, boom, I'm all for that. Because you know what? And Ron brought this great point up, okay? They're getting interest off of that money, okay? And this whole concept, all right? And it's interesting because I've seen this with radio-controlled planes and cars as well, this pre-order stuff kind of a thing, all right? It used to be a pre-order. All you had to do was send an email in, and you would get put in a queue to buy something like this, okay? Now, I think the only manufacturer, I think recently, and I'll say drones, was, remember when Skydio 2 came out, all right? And I think they took, what was it, $100 deposit, all right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which I really like that because
you
weren't having to pay the whole price ahead of time. You only had to pay, what, a tenth of it, 10% of it, and then the balance was due when it would ship. And that makes a lot of sense.
Let me give you another good example. So I really want that DJI microphone system. I think it's probably the best wireless.
It was available one day last week, Marcus, for immediate shipping.
Well, if you look at the ship date, at least every time I've tried to order it, I look at the ship date, and it's months out.
Yeah. I looked at the right day, the right minute, and it wasn't out, but that could have changed 5 minutes later.
Right. Well, so my point is, I'll order it when it becomes widely available, when I can order it and know that it's on the way. I also want to point out, Sean Air Photography is making a really good point here. As a consumer, not so much, but as a YouTuber, absolutely, because it's a great point.
Yeah.
Sean, that's a great point.
And Lauren's beating us up a little bit in the chat that we're not talking about the Mavic 3 firmware update is coming in June, Bill.
What is it, Lauren? Enlighten us.
Yes.
No, the Mavic 3 is not old news to me, Lauren. As a matter of fact, Ron, I was telling you about that FedEx shipment that's coming. What I remembered is Freewell is sending me a wide-angle lens for it and some other
they have their wide-angle lens now. Oh, good. I haven't purchased a DJI one yet, so I'll wait until your review of the Freewell model.
Yeah, and that's for the Mavic 3, so I'm looking forward to...
well, Bill, there's our homework for next week. We got to dig up the rumors on this Mavic 3 firmware update, Bill.
Firmware update, yeah.
Lauren gave us her homework assignment for next week.
Well, maybe I ought to ping Jasper. Maybe he'll know.
Or I'll get a hold of my buddy Acetalev.
Or Acetalev, yeah.
Lauren is saying mostly bug fixes, but a few new features.
Ooh.
So that's always good.
Okay, that's intriguing.
Yeah,
that's all. And and I tell you what, and this is, thank you, Lauren, for telling us about this. Okay, because and I hate to say it like this. Okay, now it talks a lot of people off the ledges here, so to speak. Okay, because I've been out on Twitter. I was out on Twitter today, and my gosh, you think the world would have ended because about the Mini 3 Pro. Oh, I'm not getting it. I paid for it.
I canceled my order.
Oh, it was like so many people.
The sky's falling in, Bill.
The sky's falling. It's like the end of the world and all that kind of good stuff. And I'm like, people, I'm just going to say what I first heard said by Original Dobo. Fly the drone you have right now and enjoy it, okay? And look at this, okay? Lauren gives us a wonderful little teaser about a firmware update for the Mavic 3 coming out with some new features, okay? And, that will probably be here before we get our Mini 3 Pros. And I'll tell you what, as soon as I get that, I want to get that out there and test that because I'm going to be excited about that, okay? I think, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing for all of us that have Mavic 3s.
Hey, I want to bring up one more point on Drone Seekers the other day. There were a couple of people on there that were saying that, once they get the Mini 3, they'll sell their Mavic 3 because they don't think they'll need it. And I came back with them. I don't know that you can.
You're getting a little bit too excited about the
Mini 3. You're getting a little bit too excited about the Mini 3. It's for one thing, you can't compare a 1/1.3 camera with a micro 4/3 sensor.
Well, you can, but
you can, but it's not going to be a favorable comparison. As brilliant as the Mini 3 is, it's just but then also what people tend to forget is the power and speed of the Mavic 3 and what that can do for you as a pilot. And every time I fly that thing, it always just astounds me when I want to get an angle or get something. How quickly I can get the drone in position to do it.
And power and speed mean more than just flying fast. It means wind performance.
And wind performance as well.
Yes.
Ascending speed and often, even more important, descending speed. With that Mavic 3, that thing will just drop like a rock, and you can get some really, really cool shots.
I was going to say, highlight Lon's comment about the dolly zoom, and then Lauren didn't deny it. Lauren did not deny it.
Yeah.
Well, how about that?
I've already got a drone that'll do that automatically, Ron.
The Anafi
the Parrot Anafi
years ago.
Yeah.
And it's also available for the DJI. What are the DJI gimbals called? The phone gimbals.
The ZenMuse the
DJI ones. The ones with our phones in. It's in the app. It's in the Vimo app. If you for the gimbals.
But don't you have to be really smooth walking backwards to make that work, Ron?
You gotta do the ninja walk.
Yeah, got you.
Well, you brought up a good point about the Mavic 3, and one of the things I did when because I take it, I do, when I first get it, I get it up to 400 feet, and I shoot some video from up there. I was impressed with how well it flew because when you get up to 400 feet. Your winds are going to be different than they are at 100 feet. And I'll tell you what, it was smooth as silk. It was buttery smooth. I had zero issues or concerns with that up there. So that thing moves through the air incredibly well.
Hey, I want to answer Lon. Lon, we were never apart, buddy.
Yeah. Lon, I backed Lon up in a couple YouTube comments when he was fighting a good fight. That the tiny sensors are actually better than the big sensors.
Yeah, which is just insane. Yeah.
Well, any closing thoughts there, Ron?
No. Again, I didn't want to be discouraged. I think that I think DJI will deliver this drone, faster than these dates that people are getting them for July, August. I think they will come sooner than those dates. I'm glad Lon gave us that information about the 31st. I'm going to call us early adopters, people to order in the first 5 minutes. I mean, Marcus, I can live with the 31st.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I got no problems with the 31st. And I'm not necessarily worried about myself so much. I'm worried about Joe, Joe average, drone flyer who orders this drone and says it's coming in August. That's the guy I'm worried about.
Not me. I'm worried about myself. No, listen.
I mean, you have a whole hangar of drones to fly, right?
Well, well, Bill's point exactly right. Fly what you got, and there's plenty.
Well, that's a lot.
That's a lot. I got plenty to be messing around with, but I am looking forward to this product. I wish they would give us a firm shipping date so we could know what that was. Just knowing would be a big deal.
I agree, and and that's what I want to follow, and on both of your sentiments here as we close out tonight. I think it's going to be sooner. I think they're doing this to CYA themselves, because if you guys remember when the original Mavic Pro came out, people ordered it in October and didn't get it till January in some instances, and there was a lot of hitting the fan then. It was not good for DJI.
It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty.
Yeah, it really was. So that's when they came up with the whole concept of having distribution centers in the United States, which made a lot of sense at the time, and it's really helped them out. And we've debated what's going on here.
But Bill, if I wouldn't get the show ticket down, I'd play a couple bars of Tom Petty's "The Waiting Is the Hardest Part." But
waiting is the hard, or Carly Simon, "Anticipation." Okay.
Oh, there's another good one. Yeah,
there's another. Yeah, "Anticipation." Well, and that's what I want to close with. Enjoy what you have now, because almost all of us have more than one drone, and when it comes out, it'll be it will still do what it's going to do. You're still going to enjoy it, and for us, and I think Sean brought up a real good point. Okay. For us to do videos on it, it's like, we're ready. We're ready to get out there. We're ready to test it, because, while a lot of us watch Billy and Aldrin's videos and the other ones that are out there, DC Rainmaker and everybody else, and get a lot of great information, there are a lot of people that look to the three of us to get our videos out there, because they like to hear our thoughts on it and our interpretations of things. How do we?
Somebody that actually paid money for the drone.
Yeah, and we're the ones. We're not. So we can go out there and say whatever we want to about the drone. Because we're not getting. We're not under an embargo or NDA.
And well, I want to add one more thing to that thought, Bill. We're probably the only 3 reviewers in all of YouTube that didn't get one, because boy, they spread those things far and wide. It seems
one theory, Marcus, is the reason they're so far behind in shipping because they sent too many out.
They sent them all out to all the reviewers.
Sent them all out. I know.
Yeah.
I know so many people had them. Well, you know who I was surprised that a couple of people that didn't get them. Okay, Sean from Air Photography. I was surprised he didn't get one. I was also surprised that Kelly Shores didn't get one either. Now I know Kelly's been
get one.
No, I didn't see any.
He doesn't have videos. If he does, he doesn't have a video up on it.
That's a shocker. That's a shocker.
Yeah. Well, Kelly's been a lot more in the FPV kind of space now, so right. I think that may be why.
A little inside baseball, Bill. At the first spin up Marcus I went in 2019. Kelly had the Mini one then, but he couldn't tell you anything.
He couldn't tell you
later that he had it, but he couldn't. It killed him. He couldn't say anything about it.
Well, same thing with. Well, yeah.
Guys,
go ahead.
Close it out, Bill.
Well, we'll close it out with a very happy birthday to our very own Marcus Crawford. We wish you all the best, and we're very thankful that you've been around us for another year, and we pray for many more years of good health and prosperity and all that kind of good stuff. So we wish you very well, Marcus. Want to thank everybody for stopping by tonight. As always, guys, it's a great day to fly. Take care.